looks like we are live once again for another Purge of the BS Thursday edition. Thank you guys for joining in, everybody who's already in the chat. My moderator's ready. Mod Squad has already signed up and ready for duty. So this is another Thursday edition, and we're going to bring in some of the week's most infuriating, BS-filled, poop-packed topics. We're going to have a quick conversation like we do. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, share the live, because it only happens when it's live, okay? You miss it, you missed it. So thank y'all once again for coming in. And as we do here at the Purge of the BS, because this is such a cutting edge and dangerous show, we must give you guys the disclaimer. Please stand by.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without consequence. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
Alright guys, well I'm feeling good today. I hope you're feeling good. I hope y'all are feeling good. It is a wonderful Thursday. You know, our end of the week podcast. We have come and gone, pause, from the 100th day of the Trumpster administration 2.0. That was a great episode the other day. The discussion was great. We're not necessarily going to continue that today. I just wanted to give some props for that discussion. But, and I really want to give some props to the folks who are, you know, those just really rocking with the channel, supporting the channel, coming in for all the episodes. You know, Purple Groovy, Al, IMZ, Draco, a couple of y'all whose names have really been sticking out. It is a tough world out here in these YouTube streets. So I really appreciate y'all coming back, returning, and preparing for the conversation. That's what's keeping it going right now, because the damn sure ain't money. YouTube don't pay that much, okay? Just letting you know, they don't pay much. They don't pay much. But with that being said, today, guys, we're going to get into a number of topics as we do, okay? And one of those main topics is we're going to end up talking about something that RFK said. But before we get to that, I just wanted to kind of warm things up by bringing you an interesting story. I don't want to call it a heartwarming story, but apparently there's people that have tails, okay? Not sure exactly how this whole thing started or what happened, but this says tail man. So I'm going to imagine that this is a man with a tail. We're going to see what this is all about. So hold on. Make sure you hit the like button if you're just getting in here. Make sure you hit that so you can get that. All right? A second here. Right. There. All right, well, let's see what we got here. Funny. All right, so apparently this gentleman has the largest tail in Guinness Book World History. So we're going to start with the Guinness Book World History of tail size. This is ridiculous. You know, the type of things that hit the internet these days, man, some of this stuff, you just wonder. You know what I'm saying? You just wonder sometimes, like, how do these stories even get out? So apparently this man has a tail. Let's see what we
The
got here.
62-year-old Mexican man has the world's longest tail, which is an astonishing 19 inches long, almost as long as the tail of a full-grown male horse. Despite the huge size of his tail, he has never had any experience with it. He said that his tail began to grow uncontrollably when he was 9 years old, and by the time he was 20, it had grown to 16 inches. At the age of 25, the growth of his tail finally stopped and finally settled at 19 inches. Due to the long and heavy tail, he often limps when walking, and it has caused him urinary problems, making life extremely difficult. Despite this, he still refuses to consider surgery to reduce his tail because he cherishes his title of world's first and has a deep pride in this unique physical feature. Surprisingly, he has tried many times to get his record recognized by the Guinness World Records, but was rejected every time, saying that his tail was not a natural growth. Despite this, he still believes that his tail is different and is determined to continue to enjoy his uniqueness in this field. The 60...
Whoa. Well, that's a lot to take in as the first story, isn't it? Okay, let me move myself over here. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I know the feeling of having to deal with a large tail, so to speak. Never had to deal with 19 inches worth of a tail. Seems like that might be problematic, but at least he got a news story out of it. I don't think he's getting any money. It doesn't look like he's doing too well for himself, so it doesn't look like it's very useful at all. So at minimum, give the man his page in Guinness Book of World Records, because it doesn't really seem like he's got anything going for him, considering this story. This is absolute nuts. Pun intended. Because I don't know, man. They're saying tail, but I don't know, man. That looks like a different type of growth, like where he be sitting it at. Just saying. You can't be walking the street with that around here. They'll be like, he tried to rub me with his thing. And he'd be like, it's not my fault. It's 19 inches long. I couldn't control it. Yeah, you can't be walking around like that, bro. So I hope the best for this guy, because it seems like it's going to be a hard existence. Pause for this gentleman. That's going to be rough. Yeah. Sorry, bro. I mean, I guess, could have been worse. You could have ended up with like a third arm coming out your chest that's always giving the finger. You know what I'm saying? Like a third arm that just comes out the chest constantly fingering people or giving people the finger. That would be worse. But nonetheless, I'm through with this guy. All right, let's see what we got. What we got next? Oh, okay, so we're just going to jump right into it here. Okay. Gotcha. All right, so we had the tail man and... Okay. Well, in honor of our 100th day of Trumpism, apparently, recently, this must have been within the last 24 to 48 hours, our good old friend, Mr. Robert De Niro, decided to give a speech at an award ceremony. He had a very powerful message, and let me share that with you guys right now. Powerful message. It was powerful.
I'm going to say one thing. Fuck Trump.
Okay, De Niro. All right. First of all, remember when Robert De Niro used to look like menacing? Now he just looks like the old guy that stands on the porch and gets mad if the kids cut through his grass. You see that little move there? Look at this, look at his little fist. Look he think he doing something. He ain't scaring nobody, Bobby
Fuck
D.
Trump.
Ain't nobody worried about you no more, Bobby D. Look at him, look. Here you go. Get your asses off my grass. Yo.
It's no longer down with Trump, it's fuck Trump.
You gonna do it again? Do it again. Nah, I wish you would have done it again. I'm sorry. I grew up in an era where De Niro was a badass. Like, De Niro movies, De Niro stuff where he's a badass. Now he's like a crumbly old man, you know what I'm saying? Look at his face. Get off my grass, damn it. So nonetheless, he was apparently either presenting or winning a Tony Award, and he took a bunch of time to craft a speech that would be perfect for the night. And what he came up with was, that's it. That's it. I see all y'all clapping. Oh, wait a second. Hold on a second. I don't know if y'all saw this one lady that's like, oh my God. Hold on, I gotta freeze it here. Are y'all scared of this image? Are y'all scared of the Niro image that you're seeing right now? Is a striking fear into the hearts of men and women, of course, and people that think they're men or women. Don't want to exclude you guys, okay? Yeah, this is interesting to me, but it looks like a lot of people were cheering for him, but then there's a couple of folks. Let me see if they show the shot here. Right here. I don't know if y'all can see this. Let me move this down for the folks on the vertical. You see this lady in the back with the pink with her hands over her face like, oh my God. So she seems to be the only one that's super shocked. This guy in the middle looks like Ray Liotta in freaking Goodfellas when he was laughing about, what am I, funny? What do you think, I'm funny? And he was laughing at Joe Pesci. That's what this dude looks like. It's all a joke to me. So that's why I'm laughing about it. Because really, when Bobby De Niro stood up there and did that, what did that do? Other than get him what he just got, which is a viral moment on Purge the BS. It didn't change nothing. Donnie T is still downtown in Washington signing executive orders with a Sharpie, okay? So, I'm through with these guys. I'm talking about. Now, since everybody has been, we're gonna touch Donald Trump early. Pause. We're gonna touch on Donald Trump. We're going to cover the subject that has to do with Trump a little earlier in the show here, only because I wanted to kind of pinpoint some recent outrage, okay? A lot of you guys might not know, but recently the Eagles football team, they won the Super Bowl, you know? And normally when a team wins the Super Bowl, one of the traditions, you know, used to be like, we're going to Disney World. I think that was the one that used to always, yeah, I'm going to Disney World. But in addition to the Disney World thing, they also have a White House visit that they go to. And over the course of the last few years, there's been a lot of politicism with that visit. You know, there's a lot of black football players that don't want to go, or they want to take a knee on the White House lawn. It's just been very interesting with that. But I'm going to say my piece on this. For the rest of us that just live in the regular population, a professional athlete being invited to the White House to meet with the president, whoever the president is at the time, is actually an honor. Okay? You might not think so. You might not think so. People that watch this show, I don't know what you think, but I'm just letting you know, in America, this is America, being invited to the White House is an honor. And I'll be real with you. You can say what you want about black, white, and so on and so forth. But let me tell you right now, if I got invited to the White House by any president who I have or have not voted for over the course of my life, I can go back in every president that's been in office since I've been alive, and there's not one of them that I wouldn't go if I got invited. Wasn't a big fan of Joe Biden. Wasn't a big fan. But if he'd have called out and came down there, I'd have helped him get around the White House real quick. Like, I don't see why people always get so mad when somebody goes to the damn White House. First of all, how you gonna hate from outside the club? You can't even get in. So you over here hating from outside the club. You can't even get the invite. You mad because somebody else didn't go or did go to the invitation to the damn president, to the White House. Y'all need to stop that. That is the dumbest thing I've heard in quite some time, is every time somebody goes to the daggone White House, and I hate to say it, it's mostly black people. It's mostly black people always get mad because somebody who's a professional player of a team decides to go or not go. I don't care if they go or not. What I'm saying is if they do go, we need to we need to take it easy. So apparently everybody's mad at Saquon Barkley right now. And I will say this. Saquon Barkley made a move in the last NFL season where he did a spin. Y'all that watch sports know it. He does a spin and back hops over somebody's head that's running at him at full speed. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. And I'm not willing to discount that amazing play just because this man went down to the White House, to which he was invited because he won the Super Bowl. It's almost like part of the job description. So if they go, it should be optional for them. It is optional for them, I believe. They don't get fined if they don't go. But we shouldn't be upset because Saquon went. Man, y'all need to shut that up. But apparently Saquon went and played a different sport with Donald Trump, and people are upset about it. So let's just cover it real quick. Let's get on to the next thing.
Presidential bromance brewing? It sure seemed that way today when the Philadelphia Eagles visited the White House to celebrate their big Super Bowl win.
Your superstar running back who I met yesterday, and I want to tell you he's a handsome guy, but I wouldn't want to tackle him.
Oh, you wouldn't want to tackle him? Why? Because he black? You don't want to tackle him because he black, Trump? Because you don't want to tackle no black man, Trump? No, that's that bullshit. Let's not.
Saquon Barkley. Where's Saquon?
I can't believe this racist asshole. I cannot believe this racist jerk. This tyrannical, fascist, racist Nazi jerk called that black man attractive. Because that's what he just did. He did say he's a good-looking dude. And I don't know if that's allowed in the racial playbook. I don't think you're supposed to be telling the oppressed people that they're attractive. I think you're kind of not supposed to do that. So how dare he, since he's that, be nice to Saquon? Or Saquon be nice to him? What is wrong with, you see what I'm saying? You see how stupid it sounds when you say it like that, right? You need to stop it.
Force One, because I was coming down. And usually they say, no, I don't think so. He said, I'll take it, sir. Mm-hmm. And he loved it. And we loved being together. He's a great young guy.
Eagle star running back Saquon Barkley took a lot of heat for his golf weekend and VIP ride on Air Force One with President Trump. But he brushed it off on social media, posting in part, "Maybe I just respect the office. Not a hard concept to understand. Just golfed with Obama not too long ago and look forward to finishing my round with Trump." Joining me now, contributing writer to The Atlantic and host of the podcast Jemele Hill is Unbothered. Jemele Hill. Also here is former NFL wide receiver Dante Stallworth. Glad to have both of you guys here today with me. Let me ask you about this, Dante, because Saquon is defending his outing with the president. Trump seems, frankly, more than flattered by all this. What do you make of it? Okay, that's the response. Go ahead.
I love Saquon. I think he's a great player, and you can't deny his talent. One of the things that bothered me the most was that he was one of the players that, back in 2020, when the NFL players were really going after the NFL for not standing up against the NFL and the president at the time, President Trump, he was one of the guys at the forefront saying racism and injustice cannot exist. And then he goes today, 5 years later, and he's golfing with Donald Trump. And one of the things that he said was that, it's not about politics or leave politics out of it. One of the things I'm reminded of, there's a quote that's attributed to the Greek philosopher or the Greek politician Pericles, where he says, it's attributed to him, it's the similar words, paraphrasing. He says, "You may not be interested in politics, but that doesn't mean politics won't be interested in you." And so, as you see, they've used his tweet, the White House, they've posted his tweet, they've posted photos with him. He's essentially being used kind of as a propaganda tool to say, hey, look, Saquon Barkley likes us. Everyone else should like us because.
Hold on a second now. You know what? I got to pause it because I understand what the guy's saying. But is he being, like, how big of a. Come on, man. He's a freaking NFL football player. Football players been going to the White House after football players, basketball players, baseball players, hockey players. Everybody goes down there. Were they all props, or were they just the damn champions and doing their White House visit? Like, I don't like how they're doing this. I get it. Saquon had something to say 2 years ago. Well, guess what? You know who else had a lot to say 2 years ago? The current vice president had a lot to say 2 years ago. He's sitting as a vice president now. He was calling Trump Hitler. So you know what? I'm not with it no more. You're not going to come down on Saquon, yo. The dude's job is to play football, not be worried about y'all political views. He want to go play golf with Trump because he won the damn championship and has worked his whole life to be a football player and win the championship. We need to lay off of that. Go find something else to be pissed off about. Leave Saquon alone. I'm going to tell you that right now. I like Saquon Barkley myself. I was a big fan of him when he was on the Giants, and so he's now on the Eagles, still stayed up in that tri-state area. You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to come for Saquon. Not on that. Not on that. Now, if he does something crazy, I'll give you that. But not for this. Nope. Leave him alone.
He is, number one, a black player in the NFL.
Y'all making
and
it like
number two,
that.
he's a prominent.
This fool said he's a black player in the NFL. Like 95% of the NFL ain't black damn players. He's not special in that regard. And he wasn't the only black person there. So why do we care? It's only because he's a superstar of the team. But all the rest of the guys there weren't all white. Like, come on, man. Leave Saquon
American.
alone. They need to stop
African
that shit.
At the same time, it's evident where he says that he just respects the office of the president. It's evident that Donald Trump doesn't respect the office of the president. He only respects the power that it wields.
So, Jamal, is there an unfair pressure and double standard being put on black players in the NFL to appear or not appear at events like this for the reasons he's talking about?
Oh, definitely. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that this administration has communicated so often about how they feel about black people in this country. You know, at the same time, while he is with the president, you have this administration taking away precious artifacts from the National African American Museum here in Washington, D.C. You have them doing other things that show that they are more than willing to undermine black liberation.
I need more receipts than that. I'll give you that. They did take down the Black Lives Matter Plaza in D.C. I'll give you that. But there's a lot of mixed feelings about Black Lives Matter and what happened as a result of that. And not being a defender of Trump specifically, but I haven't heard him say anything specifically negative about or towards the black population. To be honest, I've heard a few of the opposite. And I'm just saying, if you want me to believe that a person is like this horrible Hitler, I need more receipts other than opinion-based. Like, I'm not saying that he don't have his prejudices, because he's an old white dude in America. So that's expected to a degree. But is he actively trying to hold black people down? I don't necessarily believe that. Now, the middle class might be getting hit, but that has black and white people in it. So to that regard, we're all together. That's not a racial thing. That has to do with caste systems and how much money you make. So I can agree that those, avenues are being hit, but is it just because it's black people? I don't think so. And I've heard him say a few things, they sound weird when he says it. He's like, that's my black guy over there. Like, he'll say something like that because he's out of touch in that regard. But I don't believe that Donald Trump by himself, okay, let me just say that, is actively in the presidency to just hold down the black population. Because I'll be honest, we're doing that just fine ourselves. We don't need the president to keep us down. We're keeping ourselves down with the type of activities that we take part in and the stuff that we're doing. So he don't need to focus on us. We didn't win him an election. That wasn't our numbers. 99% of us still, we voted for Kamala Harris. So our numbers don't even mean much. So we don't mean that much, is what I'm trying to say to them. It's like we make it a big thing, but we don't mean that much numbers-wise. We already taken ourselves out. He don't care that much anymore. I'm not saying he didn't have his things back in the 70s and 80s, but the world has changed, and we have to be 100% honest. His issue is rich and poor, not black and white. And if we keep trying to make it black and white, we're only staying on the surface, and it keeps us fighting with people who are actually just in the same situation we're in, just of a different color. So we need to get past that. I like Jamil Hill. I do like her. I like some of her show that she does. She's a writer. So I have a lot of respect for this lady. But it's just they're making this whole thing about race when really it was just about football. I don't believe that it had to be anything else. So Saquon Barkley happens to be the number one player on the team, so of course he would get a little special invite to fly on Air Force One and all that. You know what? He worked his whole life playing football to be able to do that. So let's not hate on that. Let's continue. Let's let them finish up.
In this country. And so if you're a black player, that automatically is going to put you at the crosshairs of politics. And so while I do think generally my position is with these White House invites, whether it be a Republican or a Democrat in office, we've seen players that didn't go when Obama was in office.
Jalen Hurts didn't go today.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts didn't go today either. But the thing is that I've always felt like it's up to the player to decide that.
It's optional.
But once you make that decision, realize that people like you and I can be here on television to question whether or not or where it is you truly stand by standing and aligning yourself with somebody who frankly has really done a lot and has a very long history of completely disrespecting people who look like you. Because if you didn't play sports, if you were not a Super Bowl champion, if you were not Saquon Barkley, his reception of you would be a lot different.
So what does it say about the white players that attend then? Is the opposite also true then, that those who attend who are not black, they are making a statement?
Yeah, I remember politics weren't really talked about in the NFL locker rooms, at least any of the NFL locker rooms that I was in up until 2008 when Obama was running against McCain. And that's kind of when things started to explode and people regularly began talking politics. There's a ton of players in the NFL who are outright Trump supporters. And as me and Jamel were talking about, out earlier, Trump has become more palatable for a number of reasons. And so that has allowed these players to kind of step out of the shadows or kind of step out and say, you know what, I'm okay with this. But there were a lot of players that also didn't show up, a lot of the star players that didn't show up, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and a lot of other players on defense as well. So there's still players that are going to make that stand. But the players that were there, they know what the conversation is going to be when you go to the White House.
And if I just may add this quickly, is Saquon Barkley was able to do that, and he was able to put out, hey, I did it because I respect the office. At the same time, while we saw several players, or at least the Eagles, they sort of massaged it as it was scheduling conflicts. I think those players that didn't come should have the same right to say why they didn't come and explain. I mean, they don't owe us an explanation, but if Jalen Hurts has political and social reasons why he didn't attend, I think it's fair that he be able to speak to whatever that is and what his concerns are about.
If he has that. But maybe he just didn't feel like going. Maybe he just did have a scheduling thing. Who knows? He doesn't. She's saying that they owe it to us. That they don't owe us shit. The football players do not owe us an explanation for why they are not going to the White House visit. If they want to say something, that's up to them. But they don't owe it to the public. They don't. If it's an optional thing, you get an invite because you won the damn Super Bowl, not because you're black or white or whatever. So this is what happens, right? We sit here and focus on these kind of concepts and these arguments. Meanwhile, some other stuff is going on. We totally miss it because we're focused on the race of the person that was at the White House. Like think about it. Even if you don't go and that's what you do, you just don't go, does that mean you now want to be on a soapbox freaking spitting politics and trying to jump behind a political party? No, it just means you didn't want to go as a football player. So I don't know, man. I like I said, I like Jamil Hill, but I just think that they're so focused on the race of this and missing what Saquon put out, which is what you put out. Hey, man, I respect the office. I got invited by the president to come down for winning the damn Super Bowl. Don't be so hard on the guy, is all I'm saying. You're making it like he had to go down there and make a political stance, and he's a freaking football player. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you expect him to really do down there? What's he supposed to lock the office and say, until you give reparations to black people, I'm not going to take another snap or another handoff? No, he can't do anything like that. So let the man enjoy his little situation, and then don't make it a headline. Don't make it a headline. And then because other people weren't saying, yo, I'm not going because I don't like Trump, or I think it's racist or whatever, because they just said, hey, I'm not going, got a little scheduling issue, not going. Now you're mad because they're none of those guys are politicians. They're athletes. They're freaking athletes, man.
About this administration.
Or, as some would say, not have to address anything at all. He played the game. He won the trophy. Next. We'll see. Speaking of somebody who is aspiring to do that, I'm talking about University of Colorado quarterback Shador Sanders, who, as we know, did not go as early as he certainly wanted to. There's been a lot of statements that were made about why he was so low in the draft. People talked about attitude. They talked about, bravado, all sorts of things. Of course, we know who his father is, Hall of Famer and Colorado coach Deion Sanders. Why do you think he wasn't picked as high?
I think it's really layered. I think there's a number of issues that are at play here. The NFL doesn't have a great track record for a lot of things. One of the things, though, I will say is that the NFL is extremely tolerant for talent, right? So the more talent you have, the more tolerant they will be. Mm-hmm. And we see, you've had guys like Baker Mayfield, you've had guys like Johnny Manziel, Caleb Williams, who turned out to be number one quarterback or top 5, top 10 pick, who had a number of concerns and issues from league officials.
Oh, he about to make it
But
racial.
these kids coming out of college were extremely, they were the kind of the outright number one pick. And I don't think Shador Sanders had that kind of ability to say, hey, I'm the number one guy, so I don't have to go to the combine and work out. I don't have to go to the Senior Bowl and work out. And I can kind of dictate to these teams what I want to do in my interviews. And that didn't go over too well with NFL owners. There's a Steve Keim, who is a longtime NFL official. He's the general manager of the Arizona Cardinals for like 20 years. He once said that if Hannibal Lecter ran a 4.4, he would be drafted in the first round. So the talent, and that's not to say that Shador is not talented. He is a top 2 round talent. But for him to drop all the way to the 5th, it lets you know that it's not on the field stuff. It's something off the field. Yeah. And he's going to have to account for that and go work hard. And in this position, he's actually got a chance to start, or to at least to contribute to the team at some point this year or next season.
I mean, first of all, he quoted Pericles and mentioned Hannibal Lecter.
I know.
There's some respect. That's breadth and growth, people. But Jamal, Stephen A. said a lot about Sanders, but he also tweeted out, quote, this is...
All right, well, we'll stop there, because it's kind of... We already talked about Shador Sanders on, 2 episodes ago in that situation. I told you what that was. He was made an example of. He did not have an agent. The NFL does not like when they don't have agents. They make sure they do not give you a big contract with no agent until you've had a chance to show and prove in the NFL. Then you can come back with no agent and get $120 million or whatever it was Lamar Jackson got, because Lamar Jackson didn't have an agent either. So I'm just going to be honest. Shador Sanders is pretty good. I didn't see him going in the 5th round. I didn't see him going as the number 1 pick. But I thought 5th round was a little bit late, but that's the NFL, and it's a freaking at-will employer, bro. So they hire you if they want to. They didn't have to draft him at all. They could have let him go undrafted, and then you prove yourself on the field, since you didn't want to do the interviews and the combines and all this kind of stuff. And he said that he didn't want to do that stuff because he didn't want to take a chance of getting injured in any of the drills and stuff like that. But the NFL ain't trying to hear that shit. So nonetheless, to finish up this story, leave Saquon alone. Let him have his moment. If he wants to go chill out with Donald Trump and fly on Air Force One, that could have been a dream he's had since he was a little boy. I don't know, but I don't have time to be mad at the guy for it, because what's he going to be doing by the end of the year? He'll be taking handoffs and running footballs. He's not going to be standing on no political stage trying to help anybody with a campaign, okay? So leave Saquon alone. So I'm through with these guys. All right. We did that. Okay, we're going to go here. Keep it going.
The man accused of using AI.
Right. So y'all going to love this one. because I've been telling you all about this dark side AI thing, right? I didn't know that the AI had come a long way to the point where people are using it to do prank calls and imitate people in power, giving orders and saying things. In this particular story that's coming up, a gentleman used AI to recreate, I guess, a principal's name and had the principal saying some racist epithets, recorded it, and then reported the principal, and the principal got fired and everything. So this is an interesting story about AI and where it's where we're going. It's coming. Here we go.
AI to impersonate a Pikesville principal takes a plea deal. Dazon Darian was sentenced to 4 months for falsifying a recording containing racially charged rhetoric, ultimately costing the principal his job and destroying his reputation. But as Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor reports, Darian is maintaining his innocence.
That's right. Today, Darian took what's called an Alford plea, meaning that he is accepting guilt, but he's not admitting to it. Instead, he's simply saying that he acknowledges that the state has enough evidence to prove that he did this. Keep in mind, though, this is
guilty,
just the beginning.
yeah,
He's also facing civil charges connected to this case, as well as a number of unrelated federal charges.
It was never my intention to cause or create or spread any harm to anyone.
With a litany of federal charges hanging over his head, Dazon Darian delivering a vague apology to the courtroom as he cuts a deal with the state.
Everyone involved and everyone that was affected by this situation, I just want to apologize to on the record.
On Monday, the former Pikesville High School athletic director, charged with stalking, stealing, and retaliating against a witness, entering an Alford plea only to disturbing school operations. A judge sentencing him to just 4 months behind bars.
This particular count was the most applicable. The fact that he is facing very significant prosecution and I think a very meritful case. I
hope y'all listening, man. He got 4 months for that and lost his job. Now, granted, to some people, 4 months might not be long enough because the other person that he did this against also lost their job. So there should be some, reparation, so to speak, for that. But 4 months, he'll be right back out on the street using ChatGPT to impersonate somebody else. So just keep that in mind.
Federal system was a rationale for why we did and went the way we did.
According to Deputy State's Attorney John Cox, it's the first time the dark side of AI has entered the courtroom in Maryland and potentially nationwide.
The laws need to change. There's not a crime that addresses what ought to be addressed,
right.
And the emotional distress that was caused.
Investigators claim Darian created and circulated a fake audio recording of Principal Eric Eisworth's voice.
I seriously don't understand why I have to constantly put up with these dumb here every day. Between these ungrateful black kids who can't test their way out of a paper bag.
The racist remarks quickly
really
spreading on social media, leading to an outpouring of outrage within the community. During his victim impact statement, Eisworth arguing not only was he removed from his position, his reputation was destroyed.
On January 16, 2024, I was a respected educator with 27 years of service to students and families of Baltimore County. On January 17th, I was a racist and anti-Semite. I am slowly rebuilding my professional career and I'm beginning to heal. But this experience will never leave.
Eisworth is now pursuing a civil case against the school district and Darian, seeking at least $75,000 in damages. And while Eisworth stresses his life will never be the same, this case also opening the legal system to a whole new type of crime and raising questions over how AI offenses should be prosecuted and punished.
It's frightening. The impact that we see can happen as a result of the use of artificial intelligence is very concerning.
Yeah. I would be
Meanwhile,
concerned,
Darian
too.
is currently being held in federal custody, facing about a dozen other charges related to child pornography possession. A trial date for that case is yet to be.
Whoa. They just kind of glazed over that at the end. They said he's got a dozen child pornography cases. Not to take away from the guy that the guy that he harmed with the AI thing, but it sounds like this guy's got some issues, and he was in the school. and got child pornography. If something's wrong with this guy, I don't think 4 months is enough. I think we need a little bit more time without him, if that makes sense. A little bit more time without this guy in society. I think he needs a little bit more than that. So,
set, but all of those charges carry a minimum sentence ranging from 5 to 15 years behind bars. In Baltimore County, Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
All right, so the gentleman, what is his name again? Darian or something? Dazon Darian. So Dazon Darian is going to be in jail for a long time, and this is really because he decided to misuse AI. This case is apparently the first case of somebody prosecuting someone for this kind of thing. At minimum, he would have had a defamation suit, you know, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, he might get $75,000, but you're not going to get $75,000 out of a guy that's spending 5-10 years in jail. He ain't got no money. So you're going to have to wait on that if you get it at all. But he definitely doesn't have $75,000 to pay for any of that. So you're going to have to get your restitution in some other way, Mr. Principal Guy. But you got to really think about this. This gentleman was the athletic director, so basically he's a coach at a high school where he had access to thousands of children. And then he's got charges for child pornography and using AI to make a guy look like a total racist. And I'm going to say, if I heard that, I listened to it, it didn't sound like the AI-generated voice that I get in my my search and my assistant. It sounded like the guy. So whatever model he's using for that is very dangerous. And I've been warning people about AI. I said, look, once it gets good, we're going to have a problem. But the only way it gets good is if we input into it. By nature, AI is math-based. It's like the Matrix, right? See my little Matrix background going. It's like the Matrix. AI is the Matrix. We're the Neos. So we can move in and pull things out and change things and make it to the point where people will believe something that's 100% untrue. And that's what this guy did. So I hope that they utilize this to make an example of it and do come up with some kind of baselines for this. I mean, they just recently came out with a revenge porn legalities. I think that was an executive order, actually, that Trump came up with. And now they got like federal charges for revenge porn. Like if you break up with somebody and you post their butt naked pictures that they sent you while you were together, you can get put in jail for that now. So I'm hoping that they make some adjustments, because I guarantee this guy is not an isolated incident as far as his mentality. He's just the guy that got caught. But there's plenty of people out there that are thinking right now, man, what AI was he using? I could use that to have, you know, somebody say X, Y, and Z. I could get rid of my supervisor with something like that. Don't think like that, guys, because he is facing some time. But the time he's facing was for the child pornography thing, which I get. But the AI part, it was really more of a civil crime, like a defamation. So they need some real laws around that. That's why the 4 months is probably what he's going to get, because there was a disturbing school operations. That's apparently a charge. Disturbing school operations. So that's like if you call in a bomb threat or something like that and you get caught doing the bomb threat thing. So you already know. I'm through with this guy. Move it. Had to be a brother too, man, didn't it? Had to be the brother doing that. We can't be trusted with stuff sometimes. We get these diabolical ideas, and if there's no buffer, we just do some goofy stuff. And that's not just black people. I just was upset to see it was a black person, but it's everybody. We get information, we get new technologies, new ideas, and it's like every time you just can't put it past the human mind to find some nefarious way to use the shit, when it's really just built for convenience, information transfer, you know, things like that. Stuff that's supposed to be good for society. We take it, ball it up into something else, and now we got to have laws against the use of AI. All because of freaking Design, or whatever his name was, Design. That's a weird name anyway. But Let's see what we got next. That was design. We got that. We got that. Okay. All right. Guys, this next one was a photo and a question. So I'm going to go through it like super duper fast. And then that's it, okay? I just want y'all to see a picture. We're gonna talk about, somebody sent me a photo. I just want y'all to see it. I warn you right now, if you have a relatively soft stomach, this might not be the one that you want to see. All right? Here we go. I warned you first. The question was, what does a person's feet say about the person? And they sent this picture about this young lady and these feet. I know this is a very random thing, but I want y'all to just take this with you. What does a person's feet say about the person? So if you walk up on somebody and they're sitting with their foot on the table and you come in the house and this is what it looks like, a lot of fellas are still going to hit. They'll forget about it. But apparently this dude was acting like he was taking a picture of her. Well, he took a picture of her and caught them feet. So what this means to me, there's a lot to dissect here, okay? One, her floor is dirty as hell, okay? Let's start there. Floor's dirty. So she needs to go clean up the floor. Stop sitting on the couch. Get your lazy ass up and go clean the floor. That's why your feet look like that, because your house dirty. Secondarily, why not socks or slippers when you're walking around like that? You feel a grain. You ever walk barefoot and you step on some grainy shit, like some, you walk through something, somebody that spilled something there, and you can feel it on your feet. So why not put some socks or something on, or maybe go wash your feet? I mean, there's so many options here. And I just don't understand why this person, who she probably thinks she's a 10, and to somebody she is, but them feet and that floor, this all means that there's problems. Like, what is going on? Oh, that's a table, and it's a mirrored table. Oh, my God. You know what? I just looked at the image way closer. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. First of all, get your dirty-ass feet off the table. What if I want to eat a sandwich on this table? I'm not going to ever be able to eat a sandwich again because I know that these foot flakes are all over this glass. Dirty. Dirty. So, gentlemen, we've been talking about certain red flags. This is one of them. If you come in the house and she's sitting there with her feet on the table and her feet look like this, you already know the house dirty as hell, and you know that she probably dirty too. Just saying, got to be honest about these things. All right, so we're going to get away from the dirty feet. Toes look like fingers. Y'all ain't right. Y'all ain't right. I'm done with them. Okay. All right. All right. Let me get that. I got to get that photo off of there. Jeez. So what does a person's feet say about them? If they feet dirty, they dirty. That's what a person's feet says about them. Okay. So we answered that question. All right. What's next here? What's next here? Oh, man, we got a lot of. How much time I got left? We still got a little bit of time. All right. We're just going to start running through them then. All right. This one is going to bother some and help some others. I put this in the middle of the episode because it has Kanye. And every time we talk about Kanye, we get in trouble. And I don't mean trouble like from Kanye. A lot of people do not like Kanye West, especially with his recent rants and all the stuff he's been saying and doing lately. And if you didn't know, Kanye recently came out with a project called Donda 2. Now, I cannot review this project for fear of copyright strikes here on the channel, but I will say this. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I mean, I think some of the quality of the recordings could have been better, but I'll say this. I think you should check it out. And it's rare that I'm going to say that. If it's not that to listen to, I'll tell you it's whack. It's not that bad. It's really not that bad. So he jumps on, and he had academics, I think, on here. Like, there's a lot going on with Kanye right now. But he jumps on, I want to say, a live stream somewhere. And he's crashing out over his kids. And I'm going to tell you, if you listen to the Donda 2 album, he mentions this whole not being able to see his kids thing a lot. And I'm going to be honest with you, just from a personal standpoint, I definitely understand the frustration with not being able to see your kids. I really do. And I personally do. Like, I'm going through something with that right now. I don't get to see my kids like I want to. Well, my youngest kid, like I want to. And it's always a problem. But I'm not going to crash out like Kanye, because that's just going to make it harder for me in court. But let's just go over what he's saying here, okay? Let's go over what he's saying, and then you guys, we can talk about it. So shouts to Killer Crew on X for this live stream. And they got some big TVs in here. I don't know what's going on in here. Kind of looks like a war room. And Kanye, as Kanye does, he's covered his face again. But we're not going to do this whole debate of, that's not Kanye. No, that's Kanye, okay? So let's see what he has to say that got everybody pissed again. Now, granted, he did this the day before he dropped an album. So his name would be trending and people would play the album. I got caught up in it. I had to check the album out. And I will say, like I said before, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. There's a couple of, but if you want to put it on like a 100% scale, he's over the 50%. 50% is like, it's okay. But he's at the point where there's a couple of songs that people might really like. I'm going to be honest with you. So check it out. Tell me what you think on the next stream. We'll talk about it on Saturday, about how people feel about Donda 2, because it just dropped this morning. So, or yesterday morning. So, anyway.
You got all these black kids that just sitting in that school, and y'all niggas is just trying to jump up and down for McDonald's, nigga. None of these celebrity niggas give a fuck about anything but their next motherfucking cheeseburger, nigga.
Oh, there's no captions.
Yeah, academics put that battery in my back, bro. Because I was in the airport by myself, bro. That shit is so important to me, man. That means love you, bro. That meant everything to me, bro. I'm gonna go get these kids, man. Fuck all these faggot niggas. I'm gonna go get these kids, bro. I'm talking to the lawyers. It get to the point where I don't lose my fucking mind. I'm like, I have to get used to that seeing my kids. Like, it'll be okay. And then niggas say, hey, Ferg. Oh, I could be whole. Nigga, I could be whole when I see my kids, nigga. Come talk to me. You niggas don't know shit. I'm the leader, nigga. Why y'all keep trying to figure shit out, nigga? If I go like that, y'all go like that. I'm y'all leader. All of y'all.
You said I'm y'all leader.
It ain't nothing. But y'all niggas ain't doing no season 3 stadium show. How many millionaires you seen Virgil made? How many people met Virgil was like, I'm a millionaire now. I'm a billionaire now. That's what they do. The white people, the Jews, they'll grab a Kendrick, a Virgil, and then put a false idol, a false king. And I'm not here to be your idol. I'm the leader. I'm not here to be worshipped. And as a leader, I'm saying, how am I supposed to lead y'all if I don't got my kids with me to continue what we're doing? I ain't got no motherfucking legacy. So why the fuck you think I'll be spazzing out, nigga? Twins in charge of my motherfucking legacy, nigga, and I'm gay. Twins in charge of my motherfucking legacy, and I'm gay, nigga.
Oh, he said I'm yay.
Turn that shit off. I'm in charge. I'm in charge of my legacy. Let me put that in the universe. Thank you, Act.
Okay.
All these black.
All right, let's dissect this really quickly, because the clip came to me, and the headline was saying that Kanye was coming out as gay, but he really just said, I'm yay, if you were listening. So that's a disingenuous headline. So they got me on that one. But all right, but like I said, I'm trying to explain this to y'all in a way that it's digestible. The average regular dude, right, who goes through a custody battle is in for a hell of a ride. There's a whole bunch of just court jargon and you got to get the lawyers. There's a lot of money involved. Kanye has money. And even with his money, he's still complaining about the same thing. And I keep trying to tell everybody, I get it. He's fired up. He's passionate about it. But what he's doing is he's making it harder for people to think that his kids are going to be safe in that environment. Because he sounds like he's crashing out all the time. He really does. Let me just say this, man. And it's only because of my own personal experiences. I've been in custody battles off and on for like the last 20 years of my life. To not crash out totally is very hard to do. But it's easier to accept it if you're just like a regular dude. Because that's what regular dudes go through. That's the standard, stereotypical ex-wife, baby mama drama, whatever. It's all the same for most regular dudes. You don't necessarily expect it from the millionaires or billionaires. You expect that they would figure out a way to work it out. Some money would be exchanged. The ex or, baby moms, whatever, would be happy, and you get to see your kids when you want to, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's not what happening or what's happening for Kanye. And Kanye feels like he is like the leader of the universe. So he can't fathom how he's in a position of helplessness. That's why he mentioned being in the airport by himself when he wanted to be in the airport with his kids. Bro, I understand your frustration. I do. But when you jump on the camera, and for some reason, is that a piss cup on the table? What is that? It's pills or something on the table. Who knows? Who cares? When you jump on here and you say something, I'm coming to get them kids, and you start saying all that, even though that's not criminal, if you've been crashing out like you have, they're going to say it was a threat, he's being threatening, and they got to think of the safety and best interests of the children. So if you're making it seem like you're unhinged all the time, then it's an easy case for her lawyer to say, yeah, the kids don't really need to be around this guy because you look at him on the internet. And they use that. I've been in court. They done pulled up profile pages and all types of stuff in court. I've seen it. So just understand, Al Bond, my man, got the right phrase. It all comes down to who you put a baby in. In the average dude's defense, a lot of times we don't see and understand the red flags that are in front of us. But you knew Kim Kardashian had a sex tape. Like, you knew what she was on. You knew what her family was on. You knew this. And then not only did you enter into this situation with her, you procreated with her. Like, that's on you a little bit, Kanye. Just saying. You chose that. You did that. And now you got to deal with the consequences and the karma that come from who you chose. It's a tough pill to swallow, man. It really is. It's a tough pill to swallow. But grown men, we can accept that we love our children and don't like the person we made the children with. And so normally that leads you to try to work things out to a degree, not work out the relationship, but just be amicable for the sake of the child. If Kanye has absolutely no contact with his children and all they see is him crashing out on the internet the whole time, he's never going to get that relationship with his kids that he needs. And they're going to suffer because everybody knows that children need to know their parents. They need to have their parents involved. Even if their parents are a little crazy, there's a benefit. You know what your crazy side is like, so you can see these things and say, oh, that's how my dad used to act. Let me not do that. Or you can be totally oblivious and not know where some of those feelings and expressions are coming from. So Kanye's kids deserve to have him in whatever capacity as a father. I'm a firm believer in that, but I know that's because of my own personal experience. But I also understand that in court, crashing out on the internet like this and saying, I'm coming to get him, all that kind of stuff, it'll get you in trouble. But it won't get it to the point. See, a lot of people think this will automatically make it so he can't see the kids. He says it in here. If you let me see the kids, I'll stop crashing out. And I understand that. It's a tough one, but I understand it. So, you know what? I'm going to do it. 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 Y'all want to hear one of the tracks off of it before we move on to the next story? I'm going to give y'all one of them. Let me find it. Let's see what we got here. We'll play this short song here. This is it's called True Love. This is a Kanye West joint. See if it comes up. Gotta pause it for the sake of copyrights, but this is the Donda 2 first track called True Love. So, like I said, we're gonna give Kanye's song 2 minutes. I know I'm gonna have to cut this out later, so I'm giving people a second to come in because I know how this YouTube thing works. This part of the video will not be here later on the replay, so just check it out. Like I said, it's not that bad. What y'all think? That's the lead track. I like that hook though. That's pretty slick right there. All right, well, y'all can go check it out whenever you feel like it. It's on YouTube Music and all of the streaming services and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to be honest with you, it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. It kind of brings me back to the old school graduation Kanye a little bit. Not college dropout, but definitely graduation. And I think it's to a degree, he's going to have to use his music to get this up out of him. No therapist has been able to help this guy. None of his friends around him, if he has any at this point, are helpful. Doesn't seem to be cool with Jay-Z no more, or any of those guys. So nobody's helping him out. And he is crying out, y'all. And I'm just being real. This is from a father to another father that's going through a custody issue. I'm almost glad he decided to try to export it out through music. It'll put some perspective on things. Because when you write an album about that sinking feeling that comes along with your children being kept from you, there's a lot of people that'll resonate with. I being one of them. So I'm hoping the best for Kanye because, like I said, I used to be a really big fan of his music, and I will say this new project skirts along the lines of his older stuff, so it's way more digestible for me as an old school Kanye fan. And I think maybe that's who he was making it for. He's got a couple of features on there. I think he has Future on there, but for the most part, it's just him. And a lot of the songs are going through the issues of his relationship, his children, basically all the stuff he be ranting about, but he kind of put it in a more digestible musical form. So what if the whole album was done with AI and Kanye didn't rap none of it? That could be done too. So whether it's done or not, whether it was AI or not, I'm going to say this right now. Like I said, bold statement. That Donda album is probably the best Kanye album I've heard in well over a decade. And I hate to say it because he has been pissing me off for years now. But y'all I would check it out. It's worth checking out. Now, of course, he goes a little weird at certain points in it because that's Kanye. But as an overall project, it's pretty damn good. It's pretty good. So let's move on to our next story because I'm through with this guy. And no, the song wasn't new. The album is new. I was just playing that song. But the project as a whole, I did get a chance to listen to the whole thing. I can't do that on the show, of course. But I was just playing that song to give people who hadn't heard it just kind of a flavor of what he was doing there. And just being honest, not that bad. It's really not that bad. Now, I didn't dissect every single song. I listened to them. And it wasn't that bad. So, let's keep it moving. For y'all Kanye fans, if you know Kanye, give him a call. Let him know everything's going to be all right, okay? Let him know everything's going to be all right. Let's see here. How much time I got left? All right. Can I make it through all of these? I don't know. We're just going to start running. All right, let's see what we got here. We got a Giannis fight. We got a McDonald's thing. What's this?
We begin today with...
Okay. Oh, this is a short one. Okay, we'll do this one. I don't know why they sent me this one. It said AI threats. Not AI threats. It said gaming threats. So I didn't know what that meant. But apparently, a gentleman who is probably 30-something got into it with a kid on Xbox and threatened to, unalive him and his whole family and probably the dog, and he has been arrested. So let's check the story out. This is the crash out. This is the wonderful crash out episode here.
With an arrest over some Xbox threats. This is a case that happened in Flagler County but spanned all the way to Maine, where this suspect was arrested, a 32-year-old man from Maine, arrested, now facing charges in connection with threatening to kill a Flagler County resident and their family. Joining us live now via Zoom to talk about this is Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley. And Sheriff Staley, always good to talk with you. We appreciate you joining us this afternoon here on Florida Live.
Good afternoon, Garrett.
So this is an interesting case here, a 2.5-year investigation that ends with someone who lives halfway across the country now behind bars.
Well, that's true. A lot of people think they can be a keyboard warrior and make all kinds of threats and do what they do on a keyboard and you can't be caught. Well, I have a cyber crimes unit and I have a great digital forensics unit. And this individual found out that you can't get away. It may take some time like it did in this case because we have to rely on subpoenas and private companies answering those subpoenas, and quite often that triggers a second round of subpoenas. So it takes some time and then we have to analyze it. But, when we've identified who this keyboard warrior was and got the data in from the subpoenas, we worked with the local sheriff's office and police department in Maine, and I sent detectives up there. So we will go wherever you are. If you're going to make a threat to kill someone in our county or blow up their house or kill their family, we're going to get you. It may take a little time, but we will get you, and we will go to where you are to make sure that happens.
Hold on. They went from Florida to Maine because a guy was saying some threatening things on Xbox. Y'all better watch it with the gaming. Because you know when you be on the games playing like Call of Duty and somebody does something shady, like they take the tags of a person that you killed or whatever, and you get the cussing and fussing. Well, apparently if you do that to a Flagler County person, they will come to Maine and get your ass. Now, how they managed to get all of the IP address information, location information, he said it took 2 years. So imagine you threatened somebody 2 years ago on the Xbox, and now they show up at the house. And be like, hey, 2 years ago, when Jimmy was 11, you told him you were going to come take out his whole family over a Call of Duty game. We got to take you to jail. And then, let me say this. With the kind of distance and the fact that we're dealing with the internet and gaming, I think they should find a different way to deal with this. Because it's like this. I can threaten somebody in Afghanistan, right? Let's say I'm on TikTok and I got somebody in Afghanistan on TikTok and I make a threat to that person. It's not really a credible threat. I've never even been to Afghanistan. I don't know how to find them. You see what I'm saying? It's not really a credible threat when you got that much distance. I thought they caught him in Flagler County. I don't know. Maybe there's more to the story. But I thought he was like coming to find the family, and they grabbed him at that point. Not they went up to Maine and picked him up for something he said 2 years ago. This is ridiculous. No reply in the chat. Thank you for stopping in. So I didn't know that the Call of Duty lobbies and stuff would get you arrested. I didn't know that because I haven't really gamed in a while. I used to play with my son and stuff like that, but I never got into it to the point where I was cussing somebody out or threatening to come and unalive their family. I guess I could never get that into it. Now, I guess if someone would have said something to me that got me really riled up, like, racial epithets or something like that, maybe I would have said something, but I still don't think it would have gotten to that point. I'm going to let the sheriff finish what he's got to say because I'm still confused as to whether or not they went to Maine and got this person. Because that becomes extradition. Now they got to ship them all the way down to Flagler County. It's a lot of money over somebody talking shit on the Xbox. That's all I'm saying. So let's see here.
And this is the suspect, 32-year-old James Maynard of Pittsfield, Maine. What can you tell us about this situation? Because it sounds like these were pretty violent, pretty serious threats made against someone over the Xbox network.
Problems with gamers in gaming. Most people that do this, 99% of them are fine, but then arguments happen. And so they get behind these keyboards and they start making arguments, and then they say things that they're going to regret later, which is what this young man found out. So, play your games, whatever you're doing, but don't lose your temper because in Florida, we take it serious. And we will go after you. And it is a crime to make a threat to kill someone or place a bomb, those kind of things.
Is that how this started, an argument over a video game?
That's our understanding. We don't have the exact details on what triggered it, but this individual had been in an argument with our victim back in July of 2022. Then he changed his online name, despite our victim trying to block him and do those kind of things to protect themselves. And our victim at the time was a juvenile who reported it to his father, who called us.
Hold up, did y'all check that?
Yes.
At the time was a juvenile. That means the person is probably 18 now. So they were probably 16 at the time when this happened. I ain't gonna lie, teenagers can be assholes a little bit. So this guy probably was dealing with a 16-year-old smart-ass kid, a little bit, privileged down in the Florida area, enjoying the sunshine, and he probably was talking some shit. And this guy was like, I will freaking murder you. Talking like Lex Grossman from freaking Tropic Thunder. I'm talking scorched earth. Like, he probably went that route. And I don't think, it's a violation of the First Amendment to tell people not to threaten folks. You can say what you want to say. You are allowed to do that, but whatever comes as a response to that, there's rules around that. So if I say I'm going to blow up a building, even if I don't do it, or if I was just joking, just trying to get people to run out the building or whatever so I could get first in line or something, there's still a charge for that. So you just can't be saying shit just to be saying shit. I get it. We got the First Amendment. That means you can't silence me, but you can reprimand and persecute or prosecute me, or persecute, depending on whichever secute you want to do. Prosecute is, of course, legal. Persecute is personal, me and you. Either way, there are consequences for your thoughts, actions, and phrases. So I get it. It seems like a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse.
Certainly a serious situation. What challenges do investigations like this create for your agency when you're talking about the technology platforms, the distance, all of those things? What sort of challenges kind of come up in a case like this?
Well, all of those are challenges, as you just described, not only the distance, but trying to find the digital footprint and verify who is the keyboard warrior. And all of those take time to do, and it takes technology and it takes trained investigators. And unfortunately, a lot of agencies around the country do not have this capability. But we know that if we can find the digital footprint of the individual, the criminal, we can find them. It takes a lot of work. They do a lot of things to try to hide their identity. But you may recall about a year ago, we extradited an 11-year-old from Virginia for threatening, basically he was an online terrorist, to our school system at the end of the last school year. So we take this serious.
That was a little different. He was talking about blowing up schools and all that kind of stuff. That's a little different than talking shit on Call of Duty. So I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to move on with this because I get it. I don't think that it's right to threaten people's family over Call of Duty games, but I do understand it happens. What I don't seem to like, this is what I don't really like, is unless this dude literally left Maine to come to Florida, I don't consider it a credible threat. You see what I'm saying? It's not credible. It's like, all right, he's way over here talking shit. And that's his First Amendment right, is to talk shit. So unless there is a credible threat, like initially I thought when they said he was Flagler County and it went from this place to that place, I'm thinking he came to the place looking for this guy's family and that's how he got arrested. No, they tracked him down through IP addresses and arrested him in Maine, which is easily, 1,500 miles or so, if not further, from whatever part of Florida that this person is in. So unless there was some other reason to believe, because it had been 2 years since the statement was made. So unless there was some other reason to believe that this was really a credible threat, I think it was a total waste of fucking resources to do that. Like, just block the gamer, and then you just don't deal with that person no more, and that's kind of the end of that. Yeah, so that's all I'm saying. I just think that, yes, there should be, you shouldn't do that. Let's start with that. You shouldn't be threatening people's families and all that kind of stuff. But as far as the police starting a 2-year investigation, it took 2 years from the statement. There was no subsequent statement. That means they just held on to the same grudge for 2 years, popped up on this dude in Maine, and was like, hey, remember 2 years ago, the person you were talking to at that time was a minor. They're grown now, but apparently they got PTSD from what you said to them. This is a bogus waste of resources, in my opinion. I'm sure that the forensics team had a fun time tracking this thing down. It was probably fun from that standpoint, but I'm going to be real. I think it's a waste of time. Like, let people talk their shit. That's the whole point of gaming. When you're playing them games, you talk your shit. So, all right, well, I'm through with this guy. No reply. Thank you for your wonderful chats and information. Like I said, it's different when it's like you're doing bomb threats and all of that, and you're like in the area, or you're hacking systems, things like that. But just talking trash on Call of Duty, nah, I think that's one of those things you just kind of let that go, If it becomes real, you handle it with reality. But until then, why get cops from 8 states away. Was it? I want to say 10 to 12 states away, like down that East Coast between Maine, because Maine's all the way at the top, Florida's all the way at the bottom. And I'd say there's about 12 states between those spaces. I don't know. Seems stupid. But no reply. Special shouts to you. This gong is for you. Hey guys, make sure that we're supporting the content. Make sure that you're putting the thumbs up in the chat. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're sharing. Make sure you're super chatting if you want something to get across, because I might miss it. Make sure that you're checking out the merch at Freeman Services or freemansvcs.org. And that's FREEMAN svcs.org. Make sure you're checking that out. If you want to send a cash app, it's $ Freeman Services, because Freeman Services is the company that promotes and sponsors this particular show and channel. Okay, so make sure you check them out as well. So let's get to our next story. We only got about 30 minutes left here. Got about 30 minutes left here. That's crazy though. Y'all better stop talking shit online, boy. They be coming for you. They need to, like I said, I just feel like that's a waste of resources. Unless it's a real credible threat, like really, you do some research, you find it's a true credible threat, then okay, now you get the police and all that kind of stuff. But we're talking about getting people across state lines for talking shit on Call of Duty. It's like, come on. I don't know. I'd never been that scared on no damn video game people. I'll tell you that. All right, so let's see here. We got a fight. Oh, we got a fight going on. Okay, hold on a second. Jeez. Oh, this is because we're getting towards RFK. So because RFK is making America healthy again, the algorithm has sent me a clip of McDonald's. But it might not be the McDonald's that you know of. Well, it is the McDonald's you know of because people are fighting. All right, so it appears that this gentleman, the slim one with the black one, who looks like Beaker from, was it the Muppets? Who was that? Y'all get it. Apparently this person was smoking and drinking in the McDonald's and was asked to not do so and decided that they didn't want to leave. And apparently a conflict ensued. I'm just going to say right now, I blame missing fathers, public school systems, and a lot of other things for this type of debauchery. You are in a building smoking, and someone asks you to not do that. Where do you come off with a problem? You the problem. Anyway, let's see what happens.
I didn't touch you, but you did not touch me. Get your hand on my motherfucking face. Let's go. Okay. Get your hand on my motherfucking face. Okay. And get back to work. Get your hand on my motherfucking face. Listen. Now. Cross the line. I didn't. You crossed the line. You crossed the line. You crossed the line. No, stop. No, you crossed it. You crossed it. You crossed it. What's up? What's up? And I will deal with your sorry ass.
Whoa, wait a second. Pause, and additional pause. This gentleman has makeup on. Right here, I don't know if y'all can see this shot here. Let me bring this down for the people on the mobile feed. You see this guy? Yeah, he's got like eyeliner on. And I don't know how I feel about these pants. And there's a pink purse on the ground. You know, I'm starting to think this guy might be a little zesty. Maybe that's where all this emotion is coming from. That seems to be where it's coming from. All right, well, let's run it back because now we have a little more perspective here. So the guy in the back is this person's partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever they identify as. I don't know.
No, stop. No, you crossed it. You crossed it.
Cross the line.
What's up? And I will deal with your sorry ass. Cross the line. No. What's up? Cross the line. No, Dave, stop. I'm not playing with you. What's up? All right. You crossed the line. I told you couldn't fucking drink and hit the shower. No, you told me nothing. You told me to leave. And you came over there and you interrupted me while my meal. You didn't ask me to stop smoking. You didn't ask me to stop drinking. You didn't ask me to do shit.
All right, so because he didn't say stop smoking, but just asked you to leave, this is the issue. But you were smoking in the, come on, yo. I don't know what city this is, but come on, man. We got to do better, folks. You're smoking in the restaurant. And, you know, not all restaurants are as high class as this McDonald's, but I'm pretty sure you can't smoke in any restaurants unless they have like a smoking area. Maybe there's a bar. I've seen a few places that you can still smoke inside, but they are rare, like very rare. You find like a little, American Legion or something like that. You might go up into one of their little bars. They might have some ashtrays on the table. I've seen some places, but for the most part, that is not the thing. And I know I've never been to a McDonald's where you can smoke. So this guy, I hope he doesn't actually start fighting this gentleman at McDonald's, because this guy at McDonald's, he's not living his wonderful dream life. He's the manager at McDonald's, and he's got to stop somebody's freaking zesty child from smoking in the restaurant like they don't have no damn home training. Whoever's people's this is, if that's your brother, your cousin, get your folks, man. They should know better than that. Then they're going to get mad because they were asked to leave. You must be out your mind.
No, you told me nothing. You told me to leave. And you came over there and you interrupted me while my meal. You didn't ask me to stop smoking. You didn't ask me to stop drinking. You didn't ask me to do shit. You didn't ask me to do shit. You asked me to leave. Did you call the police? Did you call the police? You didn't. All right. Call the police. It recorded. No, recorded.
They do know that McDonald's food can be taken to go, right? Like, you don't have to wait at the table and sit at the table. You can just leave with your burger and your fries, and then that's it. And that's the end of it. You sitting in there smoking and drinking alcohol in the McDonald's. So when they come and ask you to leave, you got to go. Like, it ain't a whole lot to it. You got to go. Come on, man. This is ridiculous. You never asked me to stop smoking. Come on.
Get the question. You're not going to put my hands in my face. You're not going to touch me. And you're not going to touch me. You get and then we'll touch everybody. You go. You got to get space first. Excuse me. You go back. No, you go ahead.
They're both intoxicated.
I don't know why the fuck y'all think somebody. I don't know why the fuck you think I'm scared again. No. Don't let the pretty shit fool you, nigga.
This one said, don't let the pretty shit fool you. The sheer debauchery of this interaction is enough to make me want to go outside and punch a poodle. Just, just to try to do something that's more debaucherous than this. This is absolute lunacy. And I hate to say it, but that accent sounds Baltimore. I don't know. But the U's and the twos, they definitely have a certain twang to them. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was in the Baltimore area. I wouldn't be. I'll be honest with you. Not to say anything bad about Baltimore specifically, but people be wilding out sometimes. So, I'm just, like I said, it's so much to take in. Pause. But this is somebody's child. Somebody was raised to whatever age they are now. Obviously not a baby. This is, if not a grown-ass man, at least late teen. You know what I'm saying? Who was in a person's face, the manager of a private establishment, well, a franchise, but a private franchise, because that person asked you to leave but didn't ask you to stop smoking. So what are you supposed to get a warning first? Like, you in here smoking, hey, put that out. No, you got to go. You know better than being in here smoking. What is wrong with you? I don't need to express that to you.
And you're not going to touch me. You get and then we'll touch everybody. You go. You got to get space first. Excuse me. You go back. No, you go ahead. You go ahead. I don't know why the fuck y'all think somebody. I don't know why the fuck you think I'm scared again. No. Don't let the pretty shit fool you, nigga. Don't let the pretty shit fool you. Oh, we the nigga now. Yeah. Punk ass. You a punk ass.
All right. Well, so this one a Negro, and the other one called him a punk ass. Okay. I'm gonna tell you what. I don't know what's wrong with people, man. I don't know what's wrong with them. It's as simple as this. If you ask to leave the McDonald's because you're smoking, you should probably just leave the McDonald's. Like, this seems like a totally avoidable issue, but I could tell the gentleman, if I'm allowed to call them that, were very intoxicated. And I'm going to tell you, no. See, I hear y'all in the chat talking about they wouldn't be acting like that in Baltimore. They wouldn't act like that in what other cities. Let me just be real. The manager guy, whose belly you can see here on the left, he just doesn't look like he's about that smoke. I'm just going to go back to the very beginning. See him? He's going to be one of them. I'm a straight nigga. I'm a real nigga. I don't need none of it. That's what he looked like. He going to be that guy. If y'all seen that clip. Anybody that's seen that clip. But yeah, he just doesn't look, right now, I'm going to be honest with you, he just doesn't, he's not with all the fighting thing. He just wants them to leave. And he knows if he punches this guy in the face, that's the end of his job. And suffice to say, maybe he can't get a better and more high-paying job, so he wants to keep his managerial spot at the McDonald's. And one way to lose your managerial spot at McDonald's is to punch a customer in the face who has not swung on you yet. I also noticed that the customer didn't come behind the counter. The customer also didn't knock anything off of the whatever. Did drop his pink purse, unfortunately, but he didn't start destroying stuff. So because of that, the manager stepped back behind the counter. I think the manager handled this as well as it could be, because I would have kicked that little dude across the damn restaurant. Right in the chest. He would have caught, right when he came to that point when he was coming behind the counter, I would have hit him with a freaking mule kick right to the bow, right to the chest. It would have sent him at least back to that glass back there. At least back to that. And it would have sent him back into a point of thinking again, do I really want to go back messing with this dude? See, right now, he's jumping in the guy's face, the guy's not doing nothing. So you start to get emboldened. Because you're like, oh, I'm cussing at this guy, I'm jumping on his face, he ain't even doing nothing. But the second you put that boot to the freaking sternum, and you shock the heart on him real quick with that kick, it makes people make decisions. And I am a person that likes to help people with decision making. So, yeah, it wouldn't have got that far with me, and I would have lost that McDonald's job that day. He'd have been halfway across the restaurant, hitting the chairs, you'd have heard the chairs moving and everything. I'd have knocked his little ass back, and if his little friend would have stepped back there, he'd have been laying down there next to him. I don't have this kind of patience yet. God is still working on me. So, I'm going to say it for real. This guy just wanted to keep his job, because I wouldn't have been mad at him if he would have knocked one of these dudes out, especially the one that was all in his face. But McDonald's, as a franchise, they would have fired him for it. And that's kind of sad to me. You can't even defend yourself because you'll lose your job for defending and teaching lessons, because a lesson needs to be taught here. It really did. And I don't believe that the young man who thought he was so pretty learned his lesson. I don't believe the lesson was learned. I believe that was problematic. And because of that, I'm through with these guys. Where is Vallejo? Is in, that's West Coast? You coming to us from the West Coast, no reply? It's definitely not Baltimore if it's the West Coast. What I'm saying, the old dude, you see how in the one shot he was looking him up and down? He knew what he could do to him. He just didn't want to lose his job. You know what I'm saying? McDonald's is one of the few fair chance hiring employers where you can get a managerial job with a criminal record. And who knows, this guy might have been an OG hitter from back in the day. Had a couple little spots on his record, and he's like, yo, I ain't got time to be losing this gig right now. I worked 7 years to go from fries to shift manager. And this little slim ass dude with the makeup is not worth losing his job for. See, no reply. So the dude's a killer for real. I told you he reminded me of that guy from that other clip. He's like, I'm a real nigga. I'm a street nigga. I don't need none of it. You got one more time. I love that clip. I love that clip. I got to bring that up at some point. All right, we got 20 minutes left. Let's get to our last two Stizories. Okay, so we got CNN crash out and RFK's thing. Okay. Well, what's this one? Oh, that's for the next show. All right. So since we've been on the topic of black fathers to a degree and their involvement or uninvolvement or being kept in or taken out of their children's lives, there was a post that came down because people were upset at a guy named Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you don't know basketball, Giannis is this big, huge, all-star basketball player, and apparently they lost a game, and the other team, one of their, I guess it looks like his dad or something, somebody's dad came out there, and Giannis was about to fight him, and everybody was mad at Giannis. But I kind of feel like Giannis was sort of justified in it, because one, you on the court, you're at my job, you stepping foot in my job. And you coming at me a little funny, coming at me sideways, I might have to straighten you up. See what I'm saying? So let's take a quick look at it. It's currently trending as an issue. So we'll talk about it real quick. And then we'll go to RFK and then we'll get out of it. All right, so basically this is the clip here. So Giannis is in the back. I'm trying to make sure y'all can see it. He's at the very top of the screen here. This person in front of him is apparently the father of the other team's player. So they're showing that. So this guy's walking up to him. Giannis got this look like, who the hell are you and why are you standing here? He said, hold on, what you say? Now, I'll say this. I like how he didn't do nothing until there was somebody there to hold him back, though. Like, he didn't move at all until the guy was standing in front of him. But at this point, Giannis has like a 12-foot freaking wingspan, right? He could have easily took this dude out with one Giannis punch. But he waits till there's a person there to kind of add some cinema to it. Here's the guy. He comes and steps up. And then Giannis is like, okay, all right, I'm going to act like we're doing something. All right, so here's the thing. The debate is whether or not the father, this gentleman, was out of line or if Giannis was out of line. All right? So there's another angle here, I think. Let's check it out. All right, so they missed this last shot. They're celebrating. Giannis is in the middle here. All right, so right here, Giannis is still chilling in the middle. He ain't fighting nobody. He's just chilling. He's upset. They just lost the game. Right here. Y'all see it? So this guy came out. I think this is a jersey or something he got waving at him. This is the father of one of the opposite team players. Now, I will say this. His ass did not get within that reach. Look at that. Look. Right there. You see how long Giannis's arms are, right? This guy said, I'm not going under that three-point line. He stayed his ass right there. Talked his trash, which, who is you, first of all? All right, I don't like it at all. I don't tell you why. One, I think the father's out of line. Two, Giannis is one of the greatest players I've ever seen play. And he actually remained pretty cool. So people were like, Giannis was trying to fight somebody's dad. I didn't really see that. I saw, he kind of acted a certain way after the person was there to hold him back. But if Giannis would have wanted to throw that person over, then, it would have been a thing. He would have easily been able to throw that white guy out the way.
What happened kind of out on the floor after that?
All right, so let's hear him talk about it. Then we go into RFK.
This is the last time I'm going to say it. I won't talk a lot. We lost the game. It doesn't really matter. One thing I'll say is that I believe being humble in victory. That's how I am. Now there's can be a lot of people out there that are like, no, when you win the game, you gotta talk shit, and you know it's a green light for you to be disrespectful towards somebody else. I disagree. I've won the championship. They haven't. Okay, and that doesn't even say anything. I'm not trying to minimize their effort, but I remember when I won, my mom that she's never missed the games from February 11th or 13th when she came in Milwaukee against the Knicks. She never missed a game. When we won the championship, I remember my mom, she was scared to cross. She was like, am I allowed to come and hug my son? I see, except now my brother does media. For this year, he wants to come back and play. But like, except the Nets, you've never seen my family like see courtside. See, this is not something that we do. We don't. I try to keep my family away from the game. But losing the game, emotions run high. Having a fan, which at the moment I thought he was a fan, but then I realized it was Tyrese's son, which I love. Tyrese, I think he's a great competitor. He was his dad, sorry. Coming in the floor and showing me his son a towel with his face. This is what we do. This is what we effing do. This the F we do. This. I feel like that's very, very disrespectful.
I feel right. I feel right along with you, Giannis. It was disrespectful.
My dad. If you guys go and ask and learn, my dad's not with us no more. My dad used to come in the family room and was the most respectful person ever. You know, when you come from nothing and you've worked your whole life to sell stuff in the street, and your whole life you'll be scared of the police of deporting you and sending you back to your country. You have to protect your kids with all means. You create this mentality of being humble your whole life, to not kind of disrespect anybody, not make the tension high, the emotions high, so anybody can snitch on you, say something bad about you. So when he came here, I remember I was like, Dad, why are you so humble? Why are you going to the family room? You don't even say a word. You sit in the back. Why are you like that? Don't worry about it. Don't worry. That's how I grew up. That's what I had around. So when I see other dads, which don't disrespect me, maybe if my son play basketball, I might be in the court. I might be the one on the court, and like 20 years later, you can play this interview and say, Giannis, you're contradicting yourself. But we'll see in 20 years. I'm talking about right now how I feel. You know, having somebody's dad, which I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for his son, and I'm happy that he's happy for his son. That's how you're supposed to feel. But coming to me and disrespecting me and cursing at me, I think is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Okay? And I'm not the guy that points fingers, because in my neighborhood, snitches get stitches. So I want to say something.
In Greece?
To get fined.
Snitches get stitches in Greece? Giannis, is that what you're trying to tell us?
Anything. But it's not respectful. I talked with him at the end. And I think we're in a good place.
All right, well, you know what? I'm going to give Giannis an applause for that. I think he handled it as well as you could, because there was a point in time where there was nobody there to stop him. He could have grabbed that dude and had him up in the chokehold before anybody knew it. That man's arms are long as hell. And I will say this, fathers, black or white, if you happen to have a kid that's an athlete and they win a championship, that doesn't give you the right to go over in the other team's face like you just scored a basket. You didn't even touch the court. So you haven't earned the right to sit there and talk trash like that. Maybe another player on the floor that had an all-star level game, they can do that. But I didn't see any of the other team's players come and gloat to Giannis. And you know why? Because the league and the players in the league understand that this dude Giannis is known for being kind of soft-spoken, kind of humble, off the floor and on the floor. He's a beast when it comes to basketball, but he's not mean. Giannis is a really nice guy. Like, I've seen his interviews. I've seen him on the court. It's a respectful dude. He paid respect to his father. He said, my father didn't teach me like that. My father talked about humility and being a graceful winner, you know, that kind of stuff. So I think that Giannis used it as a good teachable moment for people to understand that, you know what, this is not the behavior that we should be promoting. Is parents of athletes coming onto the field or to the floor to talk trash to the other team that just lost. So I give it to him. Couldn't have been me. It'd have been an old guy down messing with me. It'd have been a whole team brawl would have started messing with me. You too close, man. He got so close. And to be saying this is, you know, F you and all that kind of stuff, Giannis didn't deserve that. Giannis is too nice of a guy, man. So good job, Giannis. Hopefully they get past this because you know how it is. It's the NBA playoffs are going on right now. So it's on to the next game. It's on to the next thing. And we'll see who ends up winning. I think the recently won. Celtics are moving on. I know that much. I don't normally pay attention to the NBA playoffs until like the last two rounds. The first segment is too long. I don't need 7 games out of the worst teams. You see what I'm saying? I need the 7 games at the end and, you know, 5 games out of the other one. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway. Giannis, hold it together, bro. You got it. All right? Let's move on to the next one. Now we're going to get into our fun. Because I only got a couple minutes left, and I got to get this done. All right? So we are definitely going to talk about this one, and we're getting out of here, okay? So, guys, because it was Trump's 100th day at his job, they had a cabinet meeting that had, like, all the cabinet members in it, right? Had Elon was there, Marco Rubio, you know, all the political names, all those folks, Pete Hegseth, all these names you've been hearing about in the headline. They all got into a room. Trump gave them all hats that said, like, Gulf of America or Make America Great Again. But there was a very interesting point that was made by one particular cabinet member. His name is RFK. Now, you guys might not know RFK, but RFK has been quite the mouthpiece for making America healthy again. And it's kind of like we want to be healthy, but some of the stuff that he's been talking about kind of has thrown people for a loop. But he actually mentions that the Department of Health and Human Services somehow was involved with the child trafficking operation. And he said it on national TV, and I heard it, and I said, hold on, what did he just say? I wanted to bring it back to y'all so y'all can hear it as well, all right? So we're going to have a quick convo about that, and then we're going to get the hell out of here because we got shit to do. All right, so hopefully y'all can see everybody. Let me move it over a little bit here. There's RFK in the top left for those on the mobile feed, right under the PURGEthe BS logo there. Make sure that you're hitting that like button. If you're coming in here, hanging out with us, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Oh, thank you. Okay, and and let's just check this out. Just listen to what he says, all right?
We have ended HHS as the role as the vector, the principal vector in this country for child trafficking. And during the Biden administration, HHS became a collaborator in child trafficking and for sex and for slavery. And we have ended that, and we're very aggressively going out and trying to find these children, the 300,000 children that were lost by the Biden administration.
All right, so I'm going to say it again. I heard what he said. He said that they were a collaborator in trafficking and that he's going out to find the kids. What about the people that collaborated the trafficking? They should be in jail, right? Isn't that correct? Am I missing something here? Like, you're telling me that the actual Health and Human Services organization was a child trafficking operation. So that means that somebody was in charge of it. And then whoever's in charge of it is the person that they should be holding liable for the problem. I keep saying this, man. I done heard a lot of talk these last couple months about law breaking. But what I haven't seen is nobody getting arrested. I haven't seen no formal charges brought on anything other than judges that block Trump stuff, like if they don't want to deport a migrant or something like that. That's all I've been seeing. I have yet to see one person get arrested or a charge be brought for any of this waste, fraud, abuse, human trafficking, all this other stuff that they've been talking about. So I'm inclined to believe
I smell bullshit.
Because I get what they're saying. We got to find the kids. I don't know what this is about. They're doing all types of stuff. But what about the people that traffic the kids? Where is the justice for the people that trafficked the kids? I get it. Find the kids. Find them. But there's no concrete evidence of anything other than the fact that he's saying it. I've seen some statements about people being kidnapped here and kidnapped there, but that's not the 300,000 kids they're talking about. They're talking about kids that they let into the country and they don't know where they are. So somebody getting kidnapped modern day is not who he's talking about. So if you traffic 300,000 children and you were at the head of an agency that did so, then can anybody tell me why you would not have somebody under arrest? I don't know. What do we have here? The bishop. I remember this. Like, I see a lot of numbers here. They're talking about some, this is a picture. This is just a picture. But basically, they spent $53 million on migrant or immigrant resettlement that nobody can find. And now they're saying that they funneled 300,000 kids into sex trafficking or child trafficking. I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'm not going to say I don't believe it, but what I'm saying is I'll believe it when I see them locking people up. I am tired of the chatterboxing. Because if I did something like that, if I trafficked a child, it wouldn't be no long investigation and a bunch of talking. They'd be at the house picking me up. I'd be a headline on the news that night. We caught this guy. He was trafficking kids, blah, 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 blah. So, Mr. Robert F. Kennedy, I appreciate what you're doing, if that's what you're doing. But where my issue is that the change has been talked about for months now. Now, we're 3 months in. We've been talked about billions of dollars being stolen, wasted. I did see a few things for property mismanagement for like Letitia James and all that. But that's not these federal crimes that we're talking about. That's not the stuff that Doge uncovered. This is just stuff in the states and people that were, against Trump, and he's coming back on them. But I'm talking about the real talking points that they're bringing up. 300,000 kids are apparently missing. At least that's what they're saying. These 300,000 kids are missing because what Kennedy says, they were part of a child trafficking operation that was headed by Health and Human Services. So why the hell is no one at Health and Human Services in jail or has any formal charges, or the Department